Hey yo, it's Brian here. Today, talking about the San Francisco 49ers. I don't know why I'm sounding excited right now, but this is not the most exciting video because this is talking about the future of the 49ers, and I mean people being out after the season potentially. We'll see. I'm talking about potentially Kyle Shanahan, our head coach. A lot of you guys are giving him a lot of heat in the comments below. I've been sort of trying to give him heat for the past few weeks. I thought that would be something like, oh, he's going to do well, but so far he's not doing well in the loss against the Arizona Cardinals with Colt McCoy as quarterback. That really can break the straw, whatever, breaks the camel's back. You guys know that quote right there. It's not looking good for him as a head coach, and I'll be talking about that right about now, actually. I hope you guys are having a great Tuesday, nothing too crazy for me. This is the time where we're supposed to talk about how to make the playoffs, playoff pushes, everything like that. But the way the 49ers have been playing, the way they've been losing, I don't know if the playoffs are even a thing anymore. I mean, they still have a chance. If they beat the Rams on Monday Night Football, that'd be a better chance. But at the same time, I mean, to lose that many games and the way they lost to the Cardinals against backups, no Kyler Murray, no DeAndre Hopkins, no AJ Green. I heard that so many times on the broadcast. It's not good. Look for Kyle Shanahan and company. But yeah, let's just talk about it right now. If you're looking at Shanahan as a whole tenure in San Francisco, he's had some ups and downs. First year or two, you give him a pass because he was rebuilding the team from the ground up from the Chip Kelly and Trent Baalke era, and he did an okay job at that time. We had a lot of losses, but at the same time, we had a lot of encouragement in terms of close games, even though we didn't have the great quarterbacks that we have, I guess, whatever. We had Brian Hoyer, CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins, but then Jimmy Garoppolo, he played well for the most part. He had ups and downs. Trey Lance, he hasn't played too much yet. I can't really judge him, even with that start against Arizona a few weeks ago. But overall, for Shanahan, it hasn't been a great ride in terms of wins and losses. His record as of this recording is 32-40, which is a losing record in 5 years, and only one playoff appearance within 5 years of his head coaching duties. Only a Super Bowl appearance, which is amazing right there. And probably if he would have won the Super Bowl, he would get a pass for the next 3 or 4 years to be coaching the 49ers. But since he didn't win the Super Bowl, we have the right to throw some heat on him. I'm pretty sure the media is on him. The front office, Jed York, is getting a little impatient. And I got to give credit to York for being this patient with Kyle Shanahan. I mean, we all know before he arrived, he was very impatient with coaches. He'd fire coaches once a year, essentially. There was a time where he fired 3 coaches in 1 year. Jim Harbaugh, Jim Tomsula, and Chip Kelly right there. That's not really good stability right there. But York, to his credit, has been patient for the past few years now. It might be time for a change. If he does make the change, or John Lynch has the balls to fire him, then yes, it's the right time to make the change. And I'll credit York for giving him this much time. But I think time is running out for Shanahan, unfortunately. I mean, a few reasons why the 49ers are losing. I'd say the injuries, I mean, that's something beyond his control, but at the same time, we cannot be using injuries as an excuse every single year. 2020 was okay, but this year, the team is still talented enough to win football games, and it's not happening at all. Problems on the field in terms of defensive performance, defensive backs in particular, not doing great. Defensive line, no depth at all. I mean, when you have a lot of guys out, including Javon Kinlaw, first round pick, he's out for the rest of the year. Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, essentially playing the whole defensive line every single snap. My gosh, man, they should be giving them pay raises, to be honest with you. It's not a good look at all. DeMeco Ryans, he's struggling in his first year as defensive coordinator. It's like they forgot how to play fundamental football. The tackling, the defensive pass interferences, although that hasn't been a problem recently, but to be playing super zone, it feels like prevent defense, essentially, giving up chunk yards in order to avoid the pass interference. I mean, that's not good right there at all. Shanahan in his offense, it's not really looking like anything. It looks like a bland offense, to be honest with you. It looks like something that anybody could call, to be honest with you, just running the ball with Elijah Mitchell down the field. I mean, where's the creative plays where Deebo Samuel was running jet sweeps, Elijah Mitchell running left or right, or any running back, Jimmy, doing all those weird whatever toss-ups in the backfield? Where's all those creative plays? Everybody is essentially there. I mean, yes, the offensive line is a little bit of a problem now with Mike McGlinchey being out for the rest of the year. Tom Compton was absolutely awful in the game against Arizona, and I don't really mention offensive linemen that much. Compton is just not cutting it for the 49ers. Aaron Banks, our draft pick this year, he's not really doing anything, and I don't know where he's at right now. It's not looking good when him, Ambry Thomas, and even DeMartre Lenore, I think he was a 5th or 6th round pick, they're not making any contributions because they haven't seen the field that much. It's really weird, but it is what it is. Trey Sermon's not really working out right now. Elijah Mitchell, he was the 6th or 7th round pick. A lot of us, including myself, were really high on him, and he's doing a really good job. He's like the only draft pick that's actually shown up for the 49ers, and actually probably the only player that's been showing up right now is minus Deebo Samuel and company. Something about his offense is just not working. Like, when I see him on the sidelines, and I don't mean to judge him or anything like that, maybe this is just me just looking at based on his emotion. It looks like he's really bored or something. I don't know. Maybe he wants to get a fresh start. Maybe he's frustrated with Jimmy G. But, Jimmy, he does have a little bit of faults. Don't get me wrong. I mean, interceptions, not being the most durable quarterback, but at the same time, he can win you games. And that game against the Cardinals last week, it was definitely not his fault at all. I mean, he did throw an interception, I think, to Budda Baker, but that was like when the game was pretty much over. There was a lot of mistakes in terms of fumbles and everything like that, drop passes. It's not all Jimmy G's fault, but, it's probably time for a change since they already made their big investment on Trey Lance. It's just been a very messy situation all year in 2021. It's being really magnified ever since this loss against Arizona a few days ago. It's not looking good for Shanahan. It might be time for him to go. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. Do you think it's time for him to go and move on to another direction, or would you keep him another year in order to develop Trey Lance? Because that's pretty much his project right there. If there's any saving grace for him to be the head coach next year, is he can use Trey Lance as an excuse to develop him and maybe be the great quarterback that we think he can be. John Lynch, he deserves to take some heat as well for all the draft picks he's made. I mean, he's made some really good ones. Don't get me wrong. Low draft picks, a lot of them actually worked out. But first, second rounders, a lot of them haven't worked out. And that's really disappointing right there. I'm a John Lynch fan. I think he does a really good job taking risks and what have you. But at the same time, taking too many risks on injured players, not going after aggressive guys in terms of trades or anything like that. I mean, Stephon Gilmore, he would have been a perfect guy for the 49ers. And I think he would have turned the defense around. He's doing a pretty good job in Carolina right now in his first 2 games. I know they're struggling, but Gilmore himself, he's having a great time right now in Carolina in terms of his own performance. That could have been the big difference maker right there. Would you rather have Josh Norman or Stephon Gilmore? Don't get me wrong, I love me Josh Norman. I think he has a lot of fight in him, but a little too immature in my opinion after that whole Cliff Kingsbury thing. He's a little too emotional, I would say, and Gilmore, he would have been a perfect shutdown corner, and even not at 100% straight. But we needed something like that, and they didn't make any moves like that to address that defensive back position. It's really disappointing to talk about the 49ers like this. I mean, at this point in 2019, I was talking about, Super Bowl runs, playoff runs, we're going to be all these teams and run the table and all that, but now we're talking about potentially firing a head coach, maybe potentially firing the GM, but I think York would give Lynch another year, maybe give him another head coach just to see what it looks like, but it is not looking good at all for Shanahan in particular, and that's who is getting the most heat and most deservedly getting the most heat out of everybody in the San Francisco 49ers organization. DeMeco Ryans, he does deserve a little bit of heat, definitely. I don't know if he's cut out to be a defensive coordinator, but at the same time, I mean, I would love to give him a little bit more time. It's his first year, but at the same time, this is Robert Saleh's defense, and he pretty much retained a lot of the guys that Saleh had last year, and coming into this year, Saleh was able to make a top 5 defense, including all those injuries, but DeMeco Ryans, as much as they've been able to be a decent defense, they could have been a much better defense, and I'm really disappointed on how the defense has performed for the most part all year long. There's been a couple standouts, of course, Fred Warner, of course, Nick Bosa, but other than that, everybody else has been in and out and very inconsistent. It's very disappointing. I hope things change. I really do, especially for the rest of the season, and if it goes down south even more, there's going to be some changes within the 49ers organization. It will start with Kyle Shanahan for the first part, and maybe John Lynch too, but, it's just more about coaching and Shanahan. The 5 years that he's been with the 49ers, only one winning season. Everybody else has been a losing season. And I know there's been circumstantial stuff, but you got to do more than that in 5 years, in my opinion. That's just me right there. I don't mean to be ranting too much. I mean, I've always been a Kyle Shanahan fan. I think he does great things for the offenses, but I don't know. It's been really difficult to watch the 49ers this year in particular, ever since they won those 2 games against the Lions and the Eagles. That's it, guys. Please let me know what you guys think about Shanahan. Should he get fired? Do you think he should get another chance? Please let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I'll catch you guys up hopefully tomorrow or Thursday when I predict the game between the Niners and the Los Angeles Rams on Monday Night Football. Bye, guys. Love y'all. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. You guys have a good day.